Hello, welcome back to Doing Bart Things, and today I thought I'd take a quick look at a couple of things happening around the web. Just a really quick video. I'm at lunch right now, so got to work from home today. Probably going to do the same thing tomorrow, and came across a couple of interesting things. So AMD is apparently preparing a 5700X 3D and a 5500X 3D. That is pretty interesting to me because I kind of thought that the AM4 socket was done. So this is interesting to me. Even after we think it's done, it's not done. It's still going. Yeah. I don't know how these are really going to perform. They're claiming, let's see what they got here, boost clocks of 3 to 4 gigahertz. So it's not going to be clocked super high. These are actually lower than the 5600X 3D. They will be, I guess, semi-reasonable gaming chips if their price is right. Yeah, there's no... I don't think there's really any word on how much they're going to cost, so I find this kind of interesting. I would probably not... I would probably not waste my time with one of these chips. The clock speed is low enough that even with the Vcache, it's not enough. If that's all they're going to boost to. I would still err on the side of, depending on what their cost is, obviously. Some of the cheaper 7th gen or 7000 series or 13th or 14th series Intel parts, because I don't think the Vcache is going to make up that kind of disparity in frequency. Cache can be really good and make up a lot of ground in certain tiles, but I don't think it's going to be enough here, folks. So this is a pretty, maybe for a budget builder. If these are really cheap, maybe that would be something. But yeah, I wouldn't really concern myself that much for these. I'm honestly just shocked that they're coming out with these. I think that's pretty crazy that they're still supporting AM4 after all this time. I kind of thought they were done. So maybe they've just got some extra chips in a warehouse somewhere they're just trying to get rid of, I guess. It's really, really strange. I mean, I kind of thought the 5600X 3D was going to be the last gasp because that made sense. That was 6 cores with the Vcache, which were obviously failed 8 cores that they would have put into a 5800X 3D. So in my opinion, I thought that was it. But now with the 57X 3D, I mean, those are obviously 8 cores that didn't clock as high probably with the Vcache. The 5500X 3D, I'm guessing is the same, but for 6 cores would be my guess. And I think that at that base and boost clock, I don't know. I don't think it's, like I said, unless they're just really super cheap. So that's pretty crazy that they're going to continue to release some stuff on AM4. Kind of gives me, I was thinking about, so let's go on to the next thing here. I was thinking about making the jump and actually getting an Intel 14900K. I thought this was a pretty reasonable deal. At $699 to get your 14900K, your Z790 motherboard, and a couple sticks of RAM for $699. But now it's kind of got me thinking, well, the way that AM4 has been supported, if they support AM5 the same way, if I get a good AM5 board, I'm probably in it for a long time. I probably got some drop-in upgrades on the way for sure next year, but maybe even the year after that. The way that they're going, I don't know if Zen 6 is going to be in the same socket. They've kind of rumored that maybe Zen 6 won't be. For the record, we're on Zen 4 is basically the 7000 series. Zen 5 will be the 8 or 9000 series, likely. And it's the next iteration of the Zen chips. Zen 6 is going to be kind of a redesign. It's going to be the same thing, but it's going to be a redesign. It's probably going to include some new technologies. It'll be something with it. I think they're going to really make a big leap on that one as far as like the Infinity Fabric, which is what kind of holds the chiplets together, if you will. So I think they're going to make a big increase there. I would not anticipate that until about 2025 is when that's going to come out, and that's going to be kind of like the direct competitor to the next generation of Intel CPU, because I don't think Intel's really got much next year. They've got Meteor Lake, but Meteor Lake, as I understand it, I don't think it's coming to desktop unless it's like i5. I think it's going to be more lower power part. They could not get it to clock as high as they wanted, and to have the ability to be competitive or as competitive against the upper end AMD parts as Raptor Lake Refresh ultimately was, because it can clock to 6 gigahertz. So it was the stronger choice for desktop, albeit at a lot of wattage. So that's kind of where that is. But if I look here, there are other bundles for AMD that got me thinking, like, why not get myself an AMD bundle that has a decent motherboard, because I know I'm going to have a drop-in upgrade at least in another year, maybe longer than that, because I mean, there's still drop-in upgrades for AM4, or well, I say potential upgrades. These aren't the fastest chips in the world, but maybe for someone that's on a 3000 series chip, on a B450 or something like that, maybe these make sense. Maybe that's an upgrade path for somebody. So, I don't know, I just found that very interesting, that they would do that. And I'm still playing around with what I want to do here, but that's kind of got me wondering if I shouldn't get the AMD, even though this CPU is not as strong as the 13th or 14th gen necessarily in all things. It's not that much of a slouch, and that will absolutely get me by for a drop-in upgrade sometime next year if I wanted to get the top of the line, 8 or 9000 AMD Ryzen CPU, maybe even with Vcache. I don't know. It's likely just something that would take a BIOS update, and I could drop it right in. So I don't know, something to consider. Then again, if I'm not going to be updating for a while, maybe just get the Intel one. I mean, so decisions. What do you do? One other thing too I want to talk about real quick is graphics cards. So the Super Series of NVIDIA graphics cards are coming January. That's the latest confirmation. And if we look here, we can see January. So it's going to be a 3-card release is what it sounds like. You're going to have the 4080 Super, the 4070 Ti Super. What a mouthful that is. And the 4070 Super. These cards will be a little upgrade over the base card. So the 4080 up to 10% faster. And again, that's the key word here, up to. Always remember that. Whenever they talk about, it's going to be this much faster, always remember, if they say up to, be aware. That means up to. Like, it may not be what you're thinking, right? The 4070 Ti Super, what a name, is probably the biggest upgrade from its predecessor. I've heard 15 to 18%, something like that, potentially. And then the 4070 Super, I've also heard like up to about 10%. So, are these going to be worth it? Depends on the price, as all things do. if they are priced affordably, then they may make decent, compelling arguments for themselves. Currently, the last thing I heard is like 1,000, maybe 800 or 700 even, something like that, and then 500 even for the supers. It's kind of like the supers are going to crunch the stack, which is what I suspected would happen. Placing them more along the lines of where they should have been to begin with, not really giving us a good deal in my opinion, just placing it where it should have been to begin with. That is the key mindset that I have about this. I don't think anybody who is on a 4080 should even consider upgrading to this at all. So I don't know. I still don't think they look that strong even compared to AMD cards. As far as just out and out performance, I don't think. I mean, the 7900 XTX maybe drops down to $900 and they just keep right on selling them. I kind of think is what happens. I don't know. We'll have to wait for benchmarks and then actual pricing, to see. But I mean, remember the software set is now pretty even, and these are going to be barely 2-digit or barely, out of realm of case by case difference or exception for error, basically, as far as performance goes in a lot of things. A lot of things I think they're going to show like a couple percent points different, probably. Maybe I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, cool. Like, that's good. I'm hoping that they're stronger, especially if they're cheaper, because that's what NVIDIA needs to do. But I have my doubts. So we'll see when we get some actual benchmarks in January. My fear is that everything is going to be overblown in performance improvement because it's going to be through using their DLSS, because NVIDIA's DLSS just mad when it comes to their testing. And so, again, never, ever, ever just take a manufacturer's own tests and word for what the performance is. Always go and look at different sources to get an idea of what the performance is, how its compatibility is, how it works, that whole thing. Because, yeah, they're going to cherry pick. So just be aware. Last little thing, and I will close out this video. RTX 4090s are getting massively expensive, at least here on Newegg. Some local places, I think, that haven't been impacted by this, you could probably find them a little cheaper, honestly. I think, yeah, like Micro Center still has the water-cooled Supreme for $1,800, which isn't that horribly bad. Like, I've seen it for $1,749 at one point. That's an incredible amount of money, but as far as 4090s go, that's at least mildly reasonable. I mean, it does have an attached AIO with it. But if you look at, like, the prices on Newegg have gone right through the roof. We're breaking $2,000 on every card. So, now's probably not the time to buy a 4090. I think everybody should just lay off that for now. I don't like buying a video card, period, right now in the current market. We'll see what Black Friday and Cyber Monday do. I'm building a new machine, basically, but it's more of, I'm not worrying about video card. I'm just hanging on to my trusty old 3080. And what I'm doing is all the backup stuff to that. So CPU, motherboard, probably power supply, case, storage. I'm building an entire PC out minus a video card, and then I'm going to get my daughter a video card to go in her machine, which will be my leftover parts. And her video card will probably be something along the lines of a, ARC 770 or just something, kind of the lower budget range. I may even go pick up something online, used even, because at some point I will upgrade my video card, and then I'll send my 3080 to her, because obviously that's a massive, that's a really stout video card for her to use just to play 1080p games. She'll be good for years. So that's kind of the the strategy, the mission. But that's pretty much it. So key things to be aware, take away from this video. Super cards are coming. Again, reserve judgment, but I would be I would not do not expect the world out of these cards. Just an improvement. Maybe we'll be surprised, but I'm thinking 15% is probably about the biggest, and that will probably be this 4070 Ti Super. Ugh, what a name. Really surprised to hear AMD is rating more CPUs on the AM4 platform. That's pretty crazy. These will be budget CPUs, and I would only buy them if you find yourself in some weird, unique situation that you're looking for something that's a little bit better at gaming than just the base chip, and the price is right and it meets your needs. And 4090s are horribly expensive, and I would probably steer clear of buying any of them now at this point. Wait till after the first of the year and we'll see what they're priced at. Guys, that's it for today. Wish you well. Thank you for joining me. It's YouTube. You know what to do if you want to hang around some more and see what we got going on. The recording looks awful, kind of not very bright. So I'll play around with some settings and work on that. In the meantime, keep enjoying my low rent productions, and that maybe are a little bit less low rent now that I've got kind of my own room and everything. And I will see you guys in the next one.